Good morning, everybody. How's everybody doing this morning? We are back. It is the drive at 5:50 this morning. We keep slipping later and later. No excuses, just choices. I slept in. Pretty sure I got some sort of sinus something or other going on. And yeah, it's wearing me out, but that's okay. We are back and we are here. So we are talking about a subject that's very near and dear to my heart and one that I struggle with. So this is going to be a do as I say, not as I do podcast. I'm working on it too. We all can get better. We all can grow. That includes me, the guy that is hosting the show. Today, on this Thoughtful Thursday, we are talking about putting it in the box. And what do we mean by putting it in the box? Can you think of a time that you have stressed out about something that is not your load to carry? Think about that with me. You're looking down the pipe here and you're saying, oh, well, what if so-and-so doesn't like me? Well, you can only control what you do. And if so-and-so doesn't respond well to that, what you're responsible for at work, what you're supposed to do, you can't control that, right? So you're carrying stress, I promise you, that was never yours to carry. You're carrying a load that was never yours and you shouldn't own. So you don't own the other person, the outcome. You don't own the other person's reaction to you. You don't control the weather. You don't control the stock market. You don't know the mood in the room. You're not going to control those things. You have to let go of those things, put them in the box of things that you cannot control. And we'll talk about how to handle undue criticism as well. So let's get into it. It is Thoughtful Thursday. Today we're going to be talking about let go of what you can't control, and that way you can lead with what you can, right? Lead in what you can. So I've done it, you've done it. We hold on to what we can't fix. Okay, I had a couple of things go wrong this year with customers, and they were things I could not control. Give you an example. Back in my Arby's days, right? And I think every McDonald's employee's experienced this. The ice cream machine is down. You can't make the McFlurry. And the customer's cussing and screaming and yelling, and that's the only thing they wanted. And they want to dip their fries into the ice cream. They wanted that Jamocha shake. They wanted the Oreo McFlurry. That's what they just were dead set on it. That criticism's not at you. You cannot hold that. In my world, it's you can't meet a lead time. You can't meet a price. Look, at the end of the day, a lot of times, it's not up to you. You're not going to be able to sell at that number. You can't meet that lead time because you can't make stuff that fast. Whatever it is, that's not a criticism of you. And you don't need to personally own it because it will, somebody said it to me. What do we call it? Mess with your mellow. What was it? Let me look. Somebody really close to me said this to me this week. That's why we're doing this one. Let's see. Hold, please. And yeah, put it in the box, lock the lid, and don't let it harsh your mellow. That's what I'm trying to get y'all to do, because I need to do it. The truth is, control is an illusion. And the tighter you try to grip onto it, you lose your peace, you lose clarity, and you lose momentum. 90% of what you're going to do in life is how you react to the situations that you encounter. And you've got to be able to let go. Let's go to another story. Somebody who had the same situation that you've probably faced, but with much higher stakes. And that's Captain Chelsea Sully Sullenberg. We all know the story, right? The pilot, he was flying the U.S. Airways flight, takes off. I think it was a flock of geese get into the engines, has double engine failure, and now what's he going to do? And we all talk about how Sully landed that plane on the Hudson River. That's what we talk about. But what we don't talk about is what he didn't do. And what he didn't do was just as important as what he did do in that situation. He didn't panic. He didn't waste time trying to restart the engines. He didn't argue with air traffic control. He didn't think about, I'm hoping for a miracle runway, like all of a sudden something's going to appear. No, he made the hard choice early. And he calmly ran through his options, accepted what he couldn't change, and became laser focused on what he could. Glide path, trajectory, timing. He let go of the uncontrollable, and that allowed him to lead in what he could control. He led his team and his passengers through what was one of the most incredible landings, emergency landings in aviation history, and saved a lot of lives. Why? Because he was able to focus on what he could control. And that's what people don't tell you. When you want to control everything, you end up controlling nothing. Because you only have so much peace. You only have so much clarity. You only have so much focus to give. We've talked about protecting your time. This is a part of that. You have to take the things that are uncontrollable, not worth worrying about, not worth thinking over, and you have to put them in a box. You have just like we talked about with only handle it once on your email. Sometimes there are things you go, well, what's the stock market going to do tomorrow? And unless you're making decisions for, hey, how am I going to rebuild my portfolio and how am I going to adjust the way I'm trading or the things I'm buying or investing, if you're not in that mood and you're just going, oh, I'm just watching the number go up and down, it's useless. Put it in the box. It's in the box. There's a period of time when things are impactful enough, they come back out of the box and you go, okay, I've got to pivot my strategy based on something that's happening in the box. But that goes in the box, right? I can't control the market. I don't own the market. It's not mine to own. So that is the leadership lesson. You grip what is yours, you let go of the rest. So here's how you do it. 1, clarify what you can control. Attitude, effort, response. This will be sort of somewhat controversial sometimes, but your attitude and your effort and your response are the things you're responsible for. And no matter whether you're, trying to play in the NFL, or you're trying to play in MLB, or you're trying to get a job as a barista at the Starbucks, no matter which one you're trying to do, these 3 things matter everywhere you go. Okay? And how people respond to that, right? Maybe you are a person, you're an independent person, and they don't respond well to you. You can't control how they respond. Now, if the criticism is warranted, then it comes out of the box and you go, okay, that's something I need to work on. Now, number 2, stop renting space to what's outside your grip. Other people's opinions. Not your job. Again, if the criticisms are valid, if you are being a bad team player and you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing, then yes, other people's opinions matter. But you have to identify the right people whose opinions you trust. So other people's opinions, when you're doing your job and you're doing it well and you're doing it the best of your ability and you're being kind, if they still don't like you, if they still have a problem with you, if they still don't like what you're saying, they have to go in the box. Put them in the box. The outcome, it's not your territory. The process is your territory. That's where you work, the journey, the what can I do, my effort, my attitude, how I respond to things. That all is inside of your territory. But the outcome, largely uncontrollable. You don't win the quote that you were bidding on, right? Okay, got to move to the next. I don't get the views I want on this on the podcast. You all choose whether you watch it or not. I have to just focus on making good content, focus on making the right thing that I feel is timely and warranted and important. The process, though, that is yours to own. How you build it, how you practice, and that dictates often the outcome. But you don't own the actual outcome. If you think about it, there was a game 2 games ago The Lakers are playing. They get fouled. I think at the end of the game, Luka gets fouled. Should have been three shots. They were down 2, had a chance to win. Now they're out of the playoffs, right? But they don't own that outcome, right? You have to take the shot. If you get fouled, the ref's got to call the play. And then they made a couple of bad plays after that. So you have to forget what just happened, what the outcome was, and move on. You have to have a short-term memory and I know Goldfish has a longer than 5-second memory span. I know that that was a myth, but you do have to be like a goldfish in that way. You got to let go of the previous outcome so you can focus on the process for the next one. So the process is yours to own. Own it. And then number 3, surrender isn't weakness, it's wisdom. Letting go of things doesn't mean you've given up. It means you've grown up. Grudges, unforgiveness, the anger you have towards someone, I want to bicker back and forth because I know I'm right. If everybody else in the room knows you're right and you know you're right, or the most important people in the room know you're correct, you don't need to keep arguing. Write it down. Hey, this is another thing. If your boss's boss, if your entire company, you warn them and they go the wrong direction anyway, document it, be prepared, because if the thing you know is true ends up happening, have the steps mapped out so you can help them through it. And don't say, I told you so. That's growing up. That's letting go of things you can't control, the outcome, and focusing on the thing that's important, the process, how you get there. With that, I got a little serious there. I didn't mean to be too serious. But let's shift to a little pop culture reference. I love to do these. You do have to be Elsa. You have to let it go. It's not just a song. It can be a strategy. Elsa in the movie, if y'all remember right, the reason the song was so important is she kept trying to control her powers and hide her powers until she exploded. And the truth is, you'll be the same way. Because if you don't stop holding on to others' problems, you will explode someday. You will get very mad. You will be very angry. It will show up on your face. It will show up in your health. You have to let go of those things that are outside of your control. So when Elsa let go and stopped trying to manage everything, she discovered how she could channel the things she was good at, her powers, and do things that were needed for her community and her sister and for herself. And she let go of the fear of perfection and control and stepped into being the queen that she needed to be. It's a kids movie. I get it. The whole point of all these kids movies is they're supposed to teach us some values underneath as to what we, should be doing even as adults. And sometimes we still miss those in the beautiful music of, I forget his name, Lin-Manuel Miranda, fantastic composer, and all the great music that he makes. But the truth is, it's right there. If you want to talk about Moana is the same sort of thing. Is she had this, hey, I can't control what my father wants to do, but I do know I'm called to do something. And she was called to go to the sea and deliver the heart of Tafiti and all the things that she did in the movie that led to a winning strategy for her community. All right, so let's flip the story because I showed you what a good leader looks like, what Sully did in that moment where he could have panicked, and instead of panicking, he controlled what he could control, that flight path, the trajectory, the things he could do. Let's talk about when a manager, a leader, micromanages themselves into burnout, because we've all seen it. I've been there. When you try to control every detail, every outcome, every person, if you're in every email, if you're in every meeting, in every corner of the business, eventually you will collapse under the weight that you're carrying. Your team will start to become disengaged because they don't think you trust them. Your peace will disappear, and the momentum will grind to a halt. So if you have this tendency, if you tend to be a control freak and you want to control everything, you want to micromanage, ask yourself this question. Okay, this is one question I want you to ask yourself. Am I getting mad because they're doing it wrong? Or am I getting mad because they're doing it differently than I would have done it? Because if it's because they're doing it wrong, if it's something dangerous, if it's something unethical, if it's going to cost a bunch of money for the company, that's one thing. But if you're just doing it, if you just think they're doing it wrong because they're not doing it exactly how you want to do it, you're trying to manage. That goes in the box, okay? Take it out of your box. It's in their box. You hired them for a reason. Allow them to be themselves and to make decisions. You trust them. You trust them because you give them a paycheck. You trust them because you hired them and you brought them on, and you are encouraging them to grow into the person they need to be. By the way, by delegating, and delegation is elevation when done properly, not abdication of duty, but if you delegate, you have to delegate. Let go. Let them learn. Let them grow. If they need help, they'll come back to you. If you see something, you can go and talk to them about it. But if it's something that it's just, I'm mad because they're not doing exactly how I want them to do it, let that go. Put that in the box. It goes over here in the box of things you can't control. So here's the challenge. The control inventory. I want you to make 2 columns. On the left side, put what's mine to control. On the right side, put what's not mine. What do I not own? And then what I want you to do, I want you to tear the right side off, and I want you to actually put it in a box. Take it and put it in the box and let it go. If there's something that needs to come back out of the box, go ahead. You can pull it back out of the box. And here's another thing. At the end of the day, if you're one of these people like me who takes a lot of this emotional, like when you take criticism personal, when it's professional, or you take criticism personal when it's directed at somebody else, it's not really directed at you, I want you to write that piece of criticism down that you go, I don't know if this is, I need to work on this, or if this is something that needs to be let go of. At the end of the day, if you wrote all those down, tear that page out. And if they need to be in the box, put them in the box and forget about them. Lock it away. And by doing that, by journaling that out, I promise you, you will feel better because you will start to let go of those things. You got them out of your head, onto a piece of paper, into the proper order. And if there's something you can control, keep that on the left side of that paper and hold on to it. All right. I want you to lead with what you got left. I don't want you to try to control everything. And let's pivot to the verse of the day. All right, and as always, I like to try to go to the Bible app to make sure I'm not getting anything misconstrued and I'm using the proper version for these verses. This one's going to be Matthew 6:34. I did not have time to look up context here, so I apologize. I will not be giving you that, but I do want you to hear this and take it to heart. In Matthew 6:34 it says, "Therefore do not be anxious about tomorrow, for tomorrow will be anxious for itself. Sufficient for the day is its own troubles." And I think what God's telling us there and what Jesus was saying in that passage is tomorrow's already, it's going to take care of itself. Number one, we talked about God's will last week. In the grand scheme of things, God has already seen the beginning and the end. He sits outside of time, space, and matter. He's already seen it. You don't have, your job is not to be concerned about this future beyond knowing it's already won. And then your job is to let God guide the steps that you do have. You don't know what tomorrow's going to bring. Worry about what is in front of you, what is today. Stay in the present. It is a gift. Be here, be present, and control the things that you can control. All right? Was that too serious? Did I get too serious? I don't know. That's a wrap. That's where we're at. I think this is a really important lesson for me in my personal life, my professional life. Don't let it harsh your mellow. Whenever undue criticism is poured upon you, take the good, put the bad in the box. I love y'all. I want you to succeed. I think you will succeed by letting go. You'll get rid of some of this weight that you have, some of the things that maybe you faced as a kid. Maybe you were bullied, picked on, whatever it is. Those things can go in the box too. You're going to a 20-year high school reunion this year. If you're, if you're me, you graduated in '05, you're going to have a 20-year high school reunion, maybe. My group's still undecided whether they're actually going to do it. It might bring up a lot of old feelings. You may be there and you may be going, man, I remember when so-and-so said such and such. Write that down, throw it in this box, lock it away. None of that stuff matters anymore. Heck, if you can think about it now, write it down, throw it in the box. You don't need to hold on to that stuff. Let go so you can lead with what you can control. I love y'all. I want y'all to be as successful as you possibly can be. I think the anchors and the harshness of life can get to us. Look, you need to improve. There are things you can improve, and I want to challenge you in those. But I want to challenge you in the right way, not with undue criticism, not with harshness. I want to challenge you to control what you can control. And with that, we don't say goodbye here. We say see you real soon. But
at the end of the day, the day got to end.